I want to show you how to hide Excel's menus and bars so that way it looks very much like an application when you open your workbook. This would be nice for a completed tool that you want to send out to users, but you don't want them to see all of these options that Excel has in them. So that way it makes it feel like you've created an application. And the way that we can do this is through VBA. So let's open up the VBA editor here. And we want to do it on this workbook, so that whenever we open this workbook, these changes will take effect immediately. And what we have to do here under this part is click workbook and make sure that this one says open. Once we're inside of here, it's fairly simple. We need a couple different pieces to a code. We want to write a bunch of code that deals with the application. And so you can type with application and then say end with here. All the code I write in between these boxes is with the application, so I can just start with dot. So in this case, we want to do screen updating equal to false. And we do this so that all the changes are going to take place at the same time instead of one at a time and sort of flickering. This is something that we will need to remember to turn back on after all the code is run. And so I will put that at the very end. I like to take a little bit of time to say that calculation is equal to Excel calculation manual. And so when it opens, it's not going through any unnecessary calculations. Then we want to write execute Excel for macro. Set this with a quotation mark, show toolbar, open parentheses, 2 quotations, ribbon, 2 quotations, false. So this is going to hide your ribbon in Excel. Window state equals normal. Just want to make sure that the window state is normal. Command bars, same thing. Open quotations, full screen quotation, in parentheses, visible equals false. Dot command bars. Again, worksheet menu bar dot enabled equals false. So this is going to turn off the menu bars when it's full screen, and just in general turn off that worksheet. Let me fix this. Okay. Dot display status bar equals false. Dot display scroll bars equals false. Now these two are going to hide both the status bars as well as the scroll bars. Okay. And then something I like to do to make this look even more like an app is to give it a fixed size. And then I went inside of my application, I keep everything within that area. So I'm going to write in the pixel amount here. So I want the width to be 845 and the height to be 408. And so that's just going to give it a specific size. You could change those numbers to suit whatever application you're making. And then with active window, end with, there's a little bit I want to do in here as well. So we're going to say dot display workbook tabs equals false. Dot display ruler equals false. And then dot display formulas equals false. And then last is dot display headings equals false. Now you could do grid lines as well if you keep those on, but I format my background so that it has a color, and so I turn those grid lines off anyway without needing to do it here in this code. Okay, and then last, let's go to, remember we need to turn back on screen updating. So with application, again, end with, in between here we're going to do screen updating equals true. And let's turn the calculation back to automatic. All right, let's do a run to see if all of the information is correct. And as you can see, now my thing here looks like this, except I still see that that formula bar. And so let's try taking this line out about formulas. Actually, let's put it up here. So display formula bar. There we go. Set that to false. So now when I run it, I should see that formula bar goes away. And I'm left with this. And it leaves me with this kind of application. So I can, inside of here, make sure that my buttons and stuff are all more aligned toward that middle area, and then I have that ability to hide and show. So I've done the hiding part. Now this is going to occur when the workbook opens. You're going to see that it's going to have it all hidden right from the beginning. Now again, you need to know that shortcut to get back to VBA, or otherwise, since there's no menus, it's going to be hard to get there, and that's Alt F11. Inside of here, I'm going to create a module, and I'm going to write some more code to set to display all of these things, just in case you want to show that UI at different points. So for me, in my application in the toolbox, I've created a button within only our admin area where we can unhide all of this. And so normal users can't unhide it and show the bars and all of that, but a person who is an admin can, and so that can allow them to go in and edit things that are necessary to be edited without having too much of an issue. So we're going to call this sub show UI. And it's basically the same, but we're just going to change things to true. So again, with application, we're going to say end with. In the middle, we're going to put execute for macro show dot toolbar open parentheses ribbon, offset that by 2 sets of quotation marks, and then this time true, close parenthesis, dot display formula bar equals true, dot display status equals true. And you can optionally put on whatever conditions you want here. If you want everything to show back up, you can. Some of the stuff I just don't turn back on because it's not necessary for the programs I'm using. Let's do with and do active window, end with, between it, we're going to write display workbook tabs as true, display horizontal scroll bar equals true. I'll do the vertical scroll bar. We will do the ruler. And that should be it. So if I, for this button here, change the macro to show UI, we should get back the menus and all of that. And so in my admin section, I have one button that will show things, another button to hide it. And so I can start up the file, it automatically hides things. I can unhide those if I want, and then I can hide them again when I'm done making any kind of edits that I want to it. I hope that you have enjoyed this training. Please let me know if you have any questions.